What's up, folks? Sean the Average Angler. We've got a great video for you today. Before I get started on that, if you enjoy the content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We help us grow the channel here. I just do this just to help people out, hopefully catch more fish, learn some new techniques and that sort of thing, okay? So today we are talking about a technique that has long been forgotten as far as I can tell. Over the course of the time I've been fishing, we've had a lot of evolutions in things, you know, come and go. We got new techniques. Old techniques seem to be forgotten. I've touched on a few of those over the last few months, but this one came as a request. Someone wanted me to talk about it. And that is very simply an old technique that used to be a standby in most tournament fishermen's boats was a dart head. The dart head was probably replaced by shaky head, Ned head, and the Ned head's pretty similar except the way it's fished with the blunt head on the Ned head compared to the pointed head of the dart head. And a dart head is just that. You see, it's kind of dart, pointy, right? So it swims a little different. Now, I used to fish all kinds of things on a dart head, including a tube. I probably fished a tube on a dart head more than just about anything. Depending on the head shape, your swim changes, right? There's a little football head. This is not going to swim like a dart head, this dart head. Now, one thing you'll notice on a dart head is typically I like a smaller hook, and I'll show you why. Here is one rigged on a 4.5-inch robo worm. There's plenty of hook sticking out there, right? You see there? Here's one rigged on an Ivino worm. Plenty of hook, okay? And you'll see on this one, I've got a bit of a paddle tail back there. The way we fish these and what we were trying to do with them. Okay, so think of them as a kind of like you fish a small swim bait on the bottom now. Well, that's kind of what we wanted to do with the dart head in certain situations. Those situations would be steep bluff walls, rocky walls, that kind of stuff, where we kind of wanted to just, you wanted it hitting the structure, the rock, the bank, whatever it was, but you wanted to kind of keep it moving down. The other way you could do it, which was very popular for quite a while, is to throw a very light dart head, light line, and throw them up on flat. And then you were still getting the swim down to the bottom from it. The dart head did just that, it darted. But as you change things like the tail shape, even this one has a little bit of a bulb on the back of it, if I can stop it. And then the old spade tail, right? Yes, that is an Ivino sandworm, I believe was the color of that. Got a bunch of S20s in there too. In order to fish a dart head properly, and I've been talking about this on my swim bait, the small mega bass I've been throwing also, it's really about pairing it. It's the whole setup, the rod, your line, and you need something with a very, very soft tip. The soft tip really helps if you can watch your tip and see what the bait's doing. If it's hanging too much on a piece of structure, that tip starts to bend, right? So you pick up the pace, jiggle it a little bit, pick your rod tip up to get it through that and let it swim on down. That's pretty much how I focused on fishing dart head. Most of the time, 4.5 to 6-inch robo. Other times, you need a little bit more action back there, something like that. I don't even know what you call it. Or a spade tail. We also fished them on tubes, and you could rig it, just thread it on to a tube so the dart head's outside, or you could shove them up inside, poke the eye out. See, this one's long enough here, right? That could go inside of a tube, that one. Okay, these are very light hooks, folks. This is a light line technique. At the time when I fished it, we didn't use braid on spinning rods. It was pretty much 6-pound test. Today, we have other options. The dart head is still, nothing else is gonna swim like it, like a dart head. That's just the whole point of the dart head. The only one to come out with anything recently is Bass Union. This is a fantastic dart head. The difference is it's weedless. I do believe that Joseph still made this to fish in the same types of cover. And the reason I say that is Joseph lives at Orville. But if you can rig a worm weedless, now we have nothing left to grab anything. And you'll see the open hook is going to grab stuff. And at Orville, a lot of the rock banks have brush, branches, trees, various other things growing along the bottom. And hey, a lot of it's dead. But a hook point can also grab in rock. And these are light wire hooks. They're very, very sharp, but they also bend easy. So this, to me, is now the way to go. Now, in the old days, we had some weedless setups like this, but the hook point, they just didn't hook up very well. I believe it was Zipper had some, if I remember right, but man, you set the hook and you come back with nothing. And half the time, it didn't even penetrate the worm through the hook. Now, this is what I will say about a dart head, is you want to pick the weight of your dart head to match what you're fishing. And you'll see here, Bass Union has a slew of weights. They will all work. A lot of times, highly pressured situations, slower is better. It just takes patience. You need the right equipment. This rod I just showed you is a 731, not a 702, which for the longest time, that was pretty much my staple for a spinning rod until recently. And look, when I got this rod, I honestly didn't think I was going to like it. I bought it for scoping and thought, man, that's all it's going to be good for. It's become my #1 finesse rod because with that tip, I really find that I'm walking the bait through rock and stick-ups much better than I used to be able to, because I'm seeing and feeling when it's starting to hang up and I can shake it and walk it through stuff. So it's important to pair your gear and equipment to the technique you're doing. Now, this here's probably a 3/16, but you can drop all the way down to an 1/8 dart head. And let me tell you, there was a fella that used to do it, Big Jim Davis, on Orville all the time, and he fished a technique, which the darter head was very, very popular back then, but he used to fish a darter head and whoop people with it, and it was just about light head, light line, really going finesse. And you'll see how well that fits, okay? This is a 3/16. One other thing I will tell you on all of these is I cut just about 1/8 of an inch off the front, and that's just really so it would butt up better to the head. If you look at the bottom there, see how it kind of molds around the head? Same thing with that one. Okay, it just makes it fit a little bit better. I even did it, I didn't do it on this one. Here you've got that barb there to help kind of keep everything straight, or the EWG knit throat. So this is really easy. To me, it's much easier to rig these straight too than a regular dart head where you have to thread onto the hooks. So I think that's advantageous. Anyway, Sean the Average Angler, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.